Hello, viewers. I'm Sunil Solomon Philip, an assistant professor of English in the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I worked in the English and Foreign Languages University, and I must mention that I'm one of the authors and resource persons of Oxford University Press. Well, this presentation is on effective listening boosters. You see, purposefully, wantedly, I have given this word booster for your easy understanding. In the previous session, we could actually listen to several barriers to listening. Barriers such as physiological barriers, physical barriers, cultural barriers, emotional barriers, attitudinal barriers, and gender barriers. There are altogether 7 barriers that we could listen to in the previous class of mine. In this presentation, in this lecture, we're going to see what are the effective listening boosters. Of course, I have also given you 8 wonderful, fantastic listening tips and techniques of how to overcome those barriers, like, facing the speaker, eye contact, being attentive but relaxed, not tensed but relaxed. Okay. Similarly, trying to give feedback to the speaker, visualize what is being said by the speaker, empathize with him, and most importantly, understanding his, facial expressions, non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication, understanding his gestures, the way he is using his hands, the way he stands, smile, frown. Frowning is this, okay? Shrugging shoulders. Western people, they believe in lots of these gestures, emotions, expressions. Viewers always remember, emotions need expressions. Expressions need language. So for an effective speaker, a person should be able to understand the expressions well, emotions well, right? So let us see what are these effective listening boosters in this presentation. Here we go. To begin with, let me give you a recapitulation. Let me give you a recapitulation of what are those 8 listening tips that we studied in the previous lecture. First one that we saw or we discussed was face the speaker and maintain eye contact. You see, once the eye contact is lost, it becomes difficult for the listener to feel what the speaker is saying, is trying to say, to feel the vibrations, to feel the subject that is being explained. You see, we are not computers. We are not robots. We are human beings. We have emotions, right? So, eye contact with the speaker helps the listener, enables the listener, supports the listener to understand, okay? To understand the subject that is being explained. It can be in the classroom. It may be also in your day-to-day life, day-to-day communication. Step 1, effective listening booster. Step 2, be attentive but relaxed. You see, I don't know why people unnecessarily get tensed. There's no point in getting tensed unnecessarily. Relax, calm, cool. Mr. Dhoni, the Mr. Cool in our Indian team, 1 ball, 6 runs batsman. You see, try to be as calm and attentive. Focus is important, but don't get tensed. There is no point in getting tensed. By remaining calm, you will understand the subject properly, the content properly, the lecture properly, so that you will remember and reproduce maybe in your examinations, maybe interviews, verbal, oral interviews. All right? I'm sure you all will agree with me about this effective listening booster number 2. Booster number 3, what is that? That is, keep an open mind. Broad-mindedness is important. Open-mindedness is important. Don't be a narrow-minded person. Okay? Don't judge the person based on it. You see, there is one wonderful saying in English language, and that English saying is, don't judge the book by its cover. Just by looking at the cover, don't judge the book. See the contents. See the contents of the book. See what goes into the book, the style of writing, the interesting pictures there, images there. Unless you read the book, you can't judge the book. Similarly, unless you listen to the person, you can't judge the person. So be an open-minded, broad-minded listener. Booster number 3, effective listening booster number 3, that is, be with an open mind. Listen with an open mind, broad mind. Booster number 4, and that is, booster number 4 is, listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. Viewers, all that I'm trying to say is visualize. You should have a vision, an image of what he's trying to explain in the classroom. In this video lecture, I am trying to explain about listening. So you should have your ears attentive, focused. You should imagine what the speaker is trying to explain. You should visualize what the speaker is trying to explain. Isn't it true? That is. Let us see the next effective listening booster, number 5. And that is, booster number 5 is, wait for the speaker to pause to ask clarifying questions. Don't be in a hurry to ask questions. Some of the listeners in the classroom, these are hijackers in the classroom. Terrorists who hijack aeroplanes? Similarly, in the same fashion, these intelligent students, they hijack the classrooms just to show off in the classroom that they are very intelligent, brilliant. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, don't disturb the speaker when the speech is on. When he is very, attentively, when he is doing it in its full swing, don't disturb the speaker. Wait for the speaker to pause. Wait for the time for the questions. Then you can shoot your questions. Shoot your questions and get the questions clarified in a polite manner, in a courteous manner. Booster number 5 is done. Number 6. What is that? And that is, try to feel what the speaker is feeling. All that I'm trying to say is, step into the shoes of the speaker. Empathize with the speaker. You see, speaker's joy will know no bounds when you actually empathize with the speaker. He'll be the happiest person in the world when you step into the shoes of the speaker. So try to empathize with him. Try to feel the vibrations. Feel it. Connect with the speaker. Connect with the speaker. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Point number 7, booster number 7. And that is, give the speaker regular feedback. Feedback is very important. I must mention here that not all of us, but some of us are very poor in offering feedback to the speaker. This is my personal experience in the classrooms, in the workshops. What happens? That's the reason speaker never looks at the stone faces, like serious faces, or faces that have no feelings, no expressions. Speaker, usually, even if you are the speaker, you don't pay attention to such faces. To keep yourself relaxed, to keep yourself, motivated, inspired during the course of speaking, talking, what will you do? You will try to look at cheerful faces, happy faces, right? Happy faces that send you positive signals in the classroom or, during the course of your presentation. Those faces will boost you, motivate you, encourage you, inspire you. So, therefore, hence, try to give feedback to the speaker with the help of your smile, with the help of your expressions, nodding your head. Okay? And you can also say, probably asking questions here and there politely. I'm sorry, sir, I don't think I have followed this. Could you please throw some more light on that? The best way of asking the question. Could you please throw some more light on that? I could not follow your explanation. Okay? Politely, courteously. And last but not the least in this effective listening boosters, point number 8, that is, pay attention to what is not said in terms of nonverbal cues. What do I mean by nonverbal cues? Again, all nonverbal communication. Body language. Body language is nonverbal cues. You see, I'm using lots of hands. My hand movements during the course of this lecture or presentation. I'm using, I'm trying to be as expressive as possible by using my shoulders. Okay? My facial expressions. Maybe my intonation, what do I mean by intonation? The modulation of voice. Raising tone, falling tone. Imagine if the tone is the same throughout. What do you feel? You feel like boring. You feel like, this is one of the boring lectures that I've ever heard. Therefore, you need to also pay attention to these non-verbal cues. So remember all these effective listening boosters and be an effective listener. In the introduction part, I wanted to highlight all these 8 steps that are also known as effective listening boosters. Now, viewers, let us go and see some more about these listening boosters. Shall we? Here we go. I've told you to face the speaker and maintain eye contact with the speaker. What do I mean by that? Why did I say that? The reason that I said that is eye contact occurs when 2 people look at each other's eyes at the same time. There is a sort of, you get connected with the speaker. That's where I said we are not robots, we are not computers. We are human beings. We are individuals. We have life. We have emotions. So when you see the speaker eye to eye, you get connected with the speaker. Point number 1, effective listening booster. Keep it in mind. I'm going to the rest of the things. And they are non-verbal communication largely and strongly influences, social conversation or behavior. When you actually look into the eyes of the speaker knows, listen very carefully, the speaker knows that you are interested in what he is trying to explain, that you are interested in what he is trying to lecture. You see the advantage of this? So, do not miss the eye contact when you listen to the speaker next time. What else? Well, the term originated from the West in 1960s. What term? Which term? This eye contact. Or nonverbal communication itself. Right? If you look at the other aspects, a meaningful and important sign of confidence, respect, and social communication. By looking at the speaker's eyes, by looking into the speaker's eyes, you are actually respecting the speaker. Imagine the speaker is talking to you and you are looking somewhere else. But you are listening. You are listening. It's not that you are not listening. You are listening, but you are actually looking at some, okay, fine. What does the speaker feel? He feels that you are not interested in what is being spoken. Therefore, hence, it reflects your respect towards the speaker, and it also reflects your confidence levels. You are trying to send signals, positive signals, that you are confident in listening to the speaker. Confidence, respect. What else? Social communication. It's a wonderful, non-verbal gesture of social communication. Now, while I'm talking to you, imagine if I don't look into the camera and look at somewhere else and give the lecture. What do you feel? You feel that the speaker or the lecturer is not interested in what is being communicated. You understand? Right. Now, so all these things, eye contact provides some of the strongest emotions during a social conversation. One of the strongest emotions is eye contact during social conversations, social communications, right? So do not neglect, do not forget this strongest emotion while communicating, while listening, while speaking. All right? Let us see the next effective listening booster in this presentation. Booster number 2, step 2. Be attentive. I said be attentive, but be relaxed. I said don't get unnecessarily tensed, because there is no point in getting tensed unnecessarily. What do I mean by that? What I mean to say is, followed by eye contact, you need to relax. Take a deep breath. Relax. Don't stare at the speaker fixedly, very fixedly. What happens is, you must maintain eye contact, but staring at the speaker constantly might send negative signals. It might send signals that probably you are doubting the subject being explained, or the speaker may get a bit embarrassed, a bit, he may feel inconvenient. He may feel it inconvenient if the listener is constantly staring at the speaker. Most importantly, when the speaker is a female speaker. So we should not disturb the speaker's attitude, the flow of talk, the emotions of the talk of the speaker. Right. Now, when I said be attentive but relaxed, all that I'm trying to say is screen out mental distractions, such as your thoughts, your feelings, biases, background activity, or disturbing noise. All this should be cut off. What do you mean by screen out? A new phrasal verb. Screen is a verb, out is a preposition. Screen out. All that I'm trying to say is cut off all those, mental distractions, deviations, disturbances, such as thoughts, maybe feelings, bias. What do you mean by bias? Preferential treatment, nepotism, or preferential stepmotherly attitude, partiality. Bias is nothing but partiality. So keep that partiality aside. Don't show partiality while listening to the speaker. Then what should you do? Don't focus too much on the speaker's accent. Also, that is very important. Mannerisms, lest they become distractions. Giving too much attention to the speaker's accent or his mannerisms, you may get distracted, deviated. I remember very well one of our mathematics teachers who used to explain mathematics in the classroom. You know what happens? Due to the course of explaining the mathematics, he had some breathing difficulty. So he used to do this in the classroom. Repeatedly, he used to say, and then he explains. Then after 5 minutes, again he says, and then he continues his lecture. Remember, most of us, instead of focusing on what is being explained in mathematics, we were more bothered and we were more interested in his breathing difficulty, breathing problem. Blazing example, isn't it? Therefore, don't pay much attention to the speaker's attitude or mannerism, or don't pay much attention to his accent also. You need to gradually, you need to adapt yourself to the accent of the speaker. Adjust yourself. Compatibility. This is a wonderful word that we as engineers use most of the time. Compatibility. You need to adjust yourself to the tone and tenor of the speaker. Then the listening process becomes fruitful, productive, result-oriented. Okay, fine. Let me take you to the next effective vocabulary booster in this presentation. Remember, we have 8. We have seen 2. We are going to the third one, right? We are going to see 6 more in this effective vocabulary boosters. Step 3, booster 3. I said keep an open mind. What do I mean by keeping an open mind? Keeping a broad mind. Don't be narrow-minded. Listen without judging or mentally criticizing. Meaning, don't sit there with a judging attitude. Some of them, what do? They don't focus on what the speaker is trying to say. They try to judge the speaker, the way he stands, the way the mistakes that he's committing during the course of his speech. Okay, so they are fault finders. Mind you, a fault finder during the course of listening cannot be an effective listener. Bear it in mind. Keep it in mind. Don't be a fault finder. Keep those things aside. What is that you want? Focus on that. Grab that. Retain and reproduce. Okay? Fine. Now, listen without jumping to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions, very fast. Try to, take your time. Be relaxed. Be calm. Stay calm and cool while listening. Right? Don't be in a hurry in jumping to conclusions. Don't arrive at conclusions. Okay, fine. Remember that the speaker is giving shape to her mental thoughts, ideas, views, and opinions. Therefore, don't just be a sentence grabber. Now, while I'm talking to you in this program, in this effective listening boosters, I'm trying to give shape to my mental thoughts, ideas, views, and opinions. So you don't just pay attention to my words. Empathize with the speaker. Step into the shoes of the speaker and try to feel what the speaker is feeling. Feel what the speaker is feeling. Connect with the speaker, understand, grasp. Then the listening process, the communication process will be productive. Fine, all right. That is all about keeping an open mind. So don't just be a sentence grabber. Keyword in this point number 3, booster 3 is don't be a sentence grabber. Feel what the speaker is feeling. Okay. Booster 4, I said visualization. What do I mean by that? All that I mean to say is visualize the content of the speaker's communication. Human brain can visualize excellently in a focused and fully alert state. So that's the magical power of our brain that we have. While the speaker is trying to explain, your brain gives it in the form of images to you, pictures to you. Imagine he's explaining a scene or a story. What do? You visualize that story. Or imagine he's cracking a joke, cutting a joke in the classroom or in a webinar or in a seminar. What does a listener do? He will try to visualize the picture, the scene. Then he will be able to properly understand and feel it, enjoy it, remember it, retain it, and reproduce it. Okay? So, visualization is one of the effective vocabulary boosters. Do not forget that. Right. However, listening for longer or boring stretches, concentrate and retain keywords and phrases. Imagine the lecture is a very long lecture, a very lengthy lecture. What should you do? Focus on the keywords, important words and phrases. Make a note. You can also prepare a password of that. Maybe first letter of that definition, so that you can easily remember it in your examination. We do all these things. As students, as learners, as listeners, we do these things. Isn't it? Don't we? Yeah, fine. Now, in case of wandering thoughts, focus to refocus instantaneously. If your thoughts are wandering here and there, if you are, if your attention is getting deviated, distracted, try to train your brain. Write down this word. Train your brain to focus on what is being explained, on what is being communicated. All right? So that's about booster number 4, step number 4 about visualization. Visualize. Let me take you to the booster number 5, step 5. Well, booster 5 or step 5 is be patient for the speaker's pause. What do I mean by that? You see, some of the listeners will be very curious, very enthusiastic to ask questions, because they are very sharp, keen, focused listeners. So they usually get doubts. They generally get doubts. So they'll be very enthusiastic, very zealous to ask doubts. And of course, also to show off in the classroom. Some of the students or some of the listeners, not all of them. Don't be in a hurry to ask questions. Be patient for the speaker's pause. In case of difficulty in understanding the speaker, don't hesitate to request the speaker to repeat. Imagine, I've already given you one wonderful phrase or expression. These are all target language expressions. Write down, make a note. TLE, target language expressions. Target language expression. What is the target language? English is our target language. Right. Now, so don't hesitate to ask the speaker to repeat the point. You can ask him very politely by saying, "Sir, could you please throw some more light on that? Could you please explain that? Could you please explain it again? I'm sorry, I could not follow it properly." Politely, courteously. Right. Okay. Now, but don't interrupt the speaker during the flow of the talk. Wait for the speaker's pause to ask clarifying questions. Right? Okay, fine. Let me take you to the booster number 6, step 6 in effective listening boosters. And booster number 6 is feel the speaker. Feel him. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Try to feel what the speaker is feeling. Empathy is the heart and soul of good listening. What do you mean by empathy? Imagine the speaker is explaining a very sad story. Some of them even cry. They even cry while listening to the speaker. They take their handkerchiefs to wipe off their tears. That is empathizing with the speaker. That means you get connected emotionally, mentally, physically. You get connected. Empathize with the speaker. That's what I mean by that. And feel the emotions of the speaker, sadness, joy, fear, whatsoever. Respond the emotions through the facial expressions and words as an effective listener. Try to respond your emotions, your mentally, the way you have understood, the way you have followed the lecture or the explanation of the speaker. Remember, the speaker will be extremely happy when you give your feedback, your review, your remarks very frankly, very openly. Right? Okay. Now, this is not an easy thing to do. It takes energy and concentration. What takes energy and concentration? To focus on what is being explained, to give the feedback, review, remarks. It needs attention, dedication, determination. It needs your concentration, attention. But remember, it will yield very fruitful results at the end. Your focused listening, your attentive listening will definitely yield fruitful, productive results. All right, fine. But it is a generous and helpful thing to do, and it facilitates communication like nothing else does. By giving such feedback, you are also helping the speaker to speak in a better way, to give you the best of the content that he has brought to give you, to help the teacher, to help the speaker. So give them that kind of feedback. It can be positive, it can be negative, but feedback is important. And, feeling the speaker, empathizing with the speaker is very, very important. Now, here we go to the step 7, booster 7 in effective listening boosters. Well, in the previous point, we have seen to wait for the speaker to pause and then ask questions. Now, again, in step 7, I'm reiterating regular feedback to the speaker. This point was actually explained in the previous one, but this is just a sort of maybe reiteration, emphasizing the point that was said in the previous one. And that is nodding head, maybe, or a smile on your face, okay, frown. These things, they reflect the speaker's feelings. Assure the speaker through appropriate facial expressions. When you listen to the speaker, don't sit with a stone face. Assure the speaker. Give a smile to the speaker, right? Nod your head, okay? Maybe give him positive signals that you are with him, that you are following what the speaker is trying to say, right? Okay, fine. Now, a stone face discourages the speaker and puts him in an embarrassing situation. Because the speaker, he doesn't know, he cannot understand whether you're following or not following if you do not respond to the speaker with the help of your facial expressions, with the help of your emotions, body language, questions, feedback, all that. Right. Now, well-timed fillers such as would help the speaker a lot to proceed with his fluid flow of thoughts. What I'm trying to say is, fillers, generally fillers are avoided in professional presentations. But, however, during the process of thinking, during the process of connecting ideas, fillers are still allowed. They are still allowed. Because during that process, okay, a listener can understand well, a speaker can also produce the speech properly. He will try to recollect. He will try to, recall, recollect, and reconnect to give you the best in the classroom or to give you the best during the course of speaking or communication. Right. And assure the speaker that you are following the train of thought and not off indulging in self-fantasies or dreamlands. Be with the speaker. Tell him that you are with his train of thought. Write down this word, train of thought. The continuation, the consistency, train of thought. Then, restating instructions and messages and understanding them correctly to do the listening tasks both at work and home is important. So what is important here is you need to restate the instructions. Ask him again and again. Okay, there is nothing wrong. It is for the speaker as well as for the listener. Restatement of ideas, views, and opinions is very, very important. Okay, fine. Here we go. And the last one is in effective listening boosters is pay attention to non-verbal cues. I have been highlighting, emphasizing, and reiterating the importance of non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication. I mean to say the way I use my fingers, hands, shoulders, facial expressions, smile, nod, all that. The way I stand, my eye contact, all that. So pay attention to all the non-verbal cues of the speaker to be an effective listener during the course of listening. Right, okay. So face-to-face with a person, enthusiasm, boredom, or irritation can be recognized very quickly in the expressions around the eyes, the set of the mouth, the slope of the shoulders. You see, you can very quickly recognize the feelings of the opposite person. The way he speaks, the way he stands, the way he explains, you can very quickly, recognize. So be an effective listener in terms of paying attention to nonverbal cues or nonverbal communication. Right. Then, even over the telephone, the tone and cadence of the voice speaks volumes about the speaker's intentions. Imagine you are speaking over the telephone. Your voice speaks volumes about your interest, about your concentration, about your attention. That's the reason people say, imagine you are working on your computer and you're also speaking over the phone. The listener will immediately identify, he will immediately recognize that you are not interested in the communication or you are not interested in the speaker's talk. Because what you are trying to do is you are actually doing two things simultaneously. You are working on your computer. Okay, fine. All right. That means the speaker will immediately identify that you are not interested in the conversation because you are busy with something else. Therefore, paying attention to non-verbal cues, both physically as well as based on the voice, intonation, rising tone, falling tone, or fillers, or interest levels, all that is very, very important during the course of listening process. And this is one of the effective listening boosters in this presentation, right? And talking to the best friend on the phone, a lilt and laughter reassures his or her well-being. You see, while talking over the telephone, you are not there physically. There is no face-to-face contact. There is only the voice contact. So your smile in between, your proper concentration, your proper attention while listening or while speaking is equally important, right? So viewers, that's all about all the effective listening boosters that we have studied, that we have paid attention to so far. Remember all these listening boosters. These will be highly, immensely, richly useful for your classroom communication, for your day-to-day communication. Use them and be benefited and be blessed as an effective listener in your day-to-day life. Let me also, I think all the 8 points. Before I close, let me give a recapitulation of all the 8 boosters that we have seen so far. What is our takeaway in this presentation? That is eye contact. Number 1, I said eye contact. Second, I said being relaxed but attentive. That is second. Third one, I said an open mind. Fourth one, I said visualization. Fifth one, I said asking clarifying questions. Sixth one, I said empathizing. Seventh one, I said feedback. And the last but not the least, I said nonverbal cues. These are all the attentive and focused listening gestures. So follow all these effective listening, boosters. Be an effective listener. Thank you for watching the program. Keep watching these English programs. I am Sunil Solomon. Thank you for watching this presentation. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.